Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, welcome to my video. How are you? I hope when you watch this video, you are in a good health and happy. Okay, first let me introduce myself. My name is Anjelita. I'm from class regular B and BM 2016041008. And now I'm student Public Administration, University of Lampung. In this video, I will talk about youth participation in the good governance implementation in rural areas of Indonesia. In general, the definition of public service is the process of implementing activities carried out by the government to the community, which are carried out directly and indirectly, both in the form of goods and services, with the purpose of meeting the needs of the community which have become government obligation. Public services are provided by the entire community from the provincial center to the regions regardless of difference in accordance with the principles of justice and equality. This is done with the purpose of implementing laws and regulations based on service principles. Good governance. One of the objectives of implementing public service is to achieve or realize good governance. Good governance is an implementation of development management that is responsible and in line with the principles of democracy and an efficient market, avoidance of misallocation of investment funds, and prevention of corruption both politically and administratively, carrying out budgetary discipline and creating legal and political frameworks for the growth of business activities. Good governance is basically a concept that refers to the process of achieving discussion and their implementation that can be accounted for together. This is a consensus reached by the government, citizen, and the private sector for the administration of government in a country. To run a government program, one of which is good governance, is it necessary to have the participation of all parties to supervise the implementation of public services to prevent actions that are not in accordance with government regulations, later including acts of corruption, negligence in carrying out their duties to serve the community. The village government, as the smallest unit in the state government structure or as the basis for public services, is a form of state presence for the community which is important, including in terms of providing public services. The role of the village government in implementing good governance is the implementation of the duties, functions, authorities, rights, and obligations of the village government in terms of planning, implementing development in the village, especially those related to village government. Basically, the principle of good governance are first, accountability as a form of obligation to account for its performance. Second, openness and transparency in the sense that the public can not only access a policy but also play a role in its formulation. And the last, community participation in various general government activities and development. According to Ramadhani 2017, one of the principles of good governance is the existence of community participation in terms of community involvement and participation in policies, and on the other hand will have an impact on the evaluation process or control over government performance and can minimize abuse of authority. So, policy implementation should be participatory because it can encourage community participation by taking into account the aspirations, needs, interests, and expectations of the community. This is done to be able to provide benefits in monitoring the quality of public services. The application of democratic principles to eliminate abuse of authority by state apparatus for clean public services in an effort to realize good governance. In general, community participation, especially for youth, has important things, namely, first, the right to seek, obtain, and provide information about the implementation of public services. Second, the right to obtain equal and fair service from the government. Third, the delivery right to convey suggestions and options responsibly in the implementation of public services. And last, the right to obtain legal protection in the exercise of their rights. In an effort to carry out their role as youth who want to help their village in realizing good governance, there are factors that can hinder success, including first, lack of knowledge about the procedures for supervising public services, such as making reports because of the lack of education from the authorized institution. Second, due to the unequal level of education, young people with low levels of education often feel unable to supervise public servants in their own village. Third, there is mindset that corrupt behavior and the old work of the state apparatus is a common thing, so that sometimes they do not realize that this behavior is a mistake that must be corrected immediately. And last, lack of courage to make a report because there is still a fear of creating a bigger problem, disturbing the relationship between the village government and its residents, and fear of harming themselves. At this time, the younger generation has an important role in realizing good governance programs. To overcome various forms of obstacles, is it necessary to take forms of participation of the younger generation in the supervision of public services to realize good governance, including 1. Participating in the village policy making process related to the budget and public service. 2. Giving options on the course of public service individually and collectively to village officials as public servants. 3. Make a complaint report in the form of potential corruption or negligence of work of the state civil apparatus. 4. Participate in the evaluation of public services. 5. Participate and oversee the improvement of public services. 6. Provide socialization and education to the surrounding environment. And the last, joining a community of public service supervision can join organization in village or on campus. Okay, and the last conclusion. With the awareness that arises in the youth and carry out their role as agent of change that can be started from and help their region to become much better and not left behind by other regions. This is also one of the efforts in managing human resource in the village well, especially from the youth. This will encourage good social change, especially in realizing good governance within the scope of village government with the purpose of maintaining community welfare. Okay, I think my explanation is enough. I hope my explanation can be well received. Thank you so much for listening till the end. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.